Hey everyone, welcome back to the video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create awesome shot tracers using the Shot Tracer Pro program for Mac and Windows. Whether you're an avid golfer looking to showcase your skills, or if you're looking to try and make your golf content a little bit more exciting, then this tutorial is the right video for you. So let's dive right in. So Shot Tracer Pro is a powerful tool that allows you to track your golf shots by adding a coloured line to show the flight of the golf ball. It's a fantastic way to give your videos a professional touch. You've all seen it all over YouTube content, and way before YouTube content, it was all over the golf coverage as well. And it's a way to allow people to actually see where your golf ball's going. So first of all, we need to download the program. So if you just type into Google Shot Tracer software, and it'll be the first one that comes up, which is just, if you really want to go directly to the website, it's just shottracerapp.com. So depending on if you've got Mac or Windows, you can download the correct program depending on which one of those you use. I will say that it does cost. So there is a free version which you can download the app on your mobile, whether that be iOS or Android. But the program for the Mac and Windows is much better. I will do a separate video on the app as well, just to give you an option to go for that as well if you did want to spend the money. But that's how I started, the free version, and then I moved over to the program just because it was so much better. But anyway, when you come to the website, you then need to go down the bottom and you'll see that you've got different options. I actually went for the annual one, which was, I believe it was about $80, or I think it was about £60 for the year. They have just changed it, so I can actually see here that with the annual subscription, you get a free map tracker subscription for iOS. So that's new. I believe what that is when it tracks it on the side, so it has the map of the hole and it will track where your ball's going. So that'd be quite a good thing to add into the videos. But if you go on the website, you can obviously find out a lot more information about it, more than I can sort of speak about here. But you can see all of the top content creators and the top golf businesses as well use it. So obviously Live Golf use it, Golf Channel, European Tour, and then obviously all the top golf content creators. But yeah, when you've downloaded it, it should come up like this. Sometimes it does take a little while to open the actual program, but when it is open, this is the window you should see. You can go straight to importing video in the bottom left, but what I like to do, just so I can organize it all, if you go to this plus section here near to the top, you can create a new project. So I'm just going to put YouTube tutorial. But depending on the video you're going to use it for, you can name it whatever you need to help organize it. So when I've done that, you can import video down the bottom. I put these 3 different videos just so I can show you how to do different angles and things. So import those. Then Shot Tracer now analyzes all the contents. And this is where the Shot Tracer program is so much better than the Shot Tracer app, because it will try and detect the golf ball, and it does it much better on the program than it does the app. And also with the recent updates that Shot Tracer Pro have implemented in the new version, it actually has stabilization on it. In the older program, you had to go into each video if you didn't use a tripod and then put in some stabilizing points. And then it would create the line with more stability so the Shot Tracer didn't look all like skew-if. Anyway, don't need to worry about that now. With the new version of the Shot Tracer Pro, it does that automatically for you, whether you've got it on a tripod or not. So it will take a little while for the shots to import, which is why I like to do like a big batch of them. You can import them, leave it for a little while and come back and it should be done. Now, most of the time it should pick up the golf ball and it should pick up the shot. But there are times when it doesn't, whether the lighting's not quite right or you haven't quite got the right angle, and then you can go in and do it manually, which I'm going to show you how to do in a minute. So as I mentioned about the camera stabilization, this is just a message here just to say that you can turn that off in the settings here. But if you use a tripod, you shouldn't really have to have the stabilization, but I've just got it set up anyway, just in case the camera shakes or if there's a video that I forgot to use a tripod on. But yeah, that's just a message to show you about that. So now it has imported all of the videos and it's picked up all of the shots and drawn the line there for me. Now, like I said, in the Shot Tracer app, this would have taken ages to do on your phone. It's done that in a matter of probably less than a minute. So if I go through them, I'll start from the bottom because it looks like that one is not far off. So it's picked up the shot here, moved it in, and I know that actually that pitched about there, which is behind my head. So you can move the finishing point, and then if you press play, it should show you the tracer. So it won't do any sound, but you can play it to see if you're happy with where that finished. I can see that that actually finished to the right a little bit, and also I can see that that landed quicker than the tracer did. So I'm going to actually reduce the flight time, which is just, so if you come down to the right here, you can change various things. So I'm just going to change the flight time down to 5 seconds. You can have a play around with it. I always try and like to get the shot tracers really spot on, because it's something that I notice massively if it's not correct. So I'm actually going to put the flight time up a little bit more. Try 5.6. See, I'm not fully happy with this because I can see that the ball goes out way quicker than the tracer. So sometimes it's just easier, instead of trying to play around with it on the right, to just put it in manually. So if you go to the video you want to change manually and you click the cog here, that will go into settings and you can edit trajectory on here. I always like to do the keyframe. I find that that's the most accurate. So if you click on that, it will bring up the video from the start. And this is where Shot Tracer has automatically put in the points of the golf ball per frame, which I think are out. So what I would do is I go reset to impact frame, and generally Shot Tracer will pick this up pretty accurately. That is my impact. So we go set impact frame down the bottom right, click on that. And then I always like to zoom in to get this accurate. So zoom in and then click the golf ball there. And then you can do this quicker by just going space bar. And with each frame, you want to click on the golf ball. So like I said, I like to stay zoomed in because it's easier to try and get this accurate. I try and get that bang on the middle of the golf ball there and keep spacing, space, space, space. And the idea is that you do this until you can't see the golf ball anymore. But for me, this is the most accurate way to do it. I don't do it with all the tracers. If I watch the tracer and it looks pretty accurate, I won't do it with any more. But with that one, it just looked a little bit out of sync. So because I'm pretty zoomed in on this one, I haven't really done many tracers where I've been so zoomed in. I'm just going to keep going with it and see if I can pick the ball up when it starts to land. Normally when it goes out of frame at this point, I would just go continue to set landing point, but I'm just going to try this. Okay, so now that we can see the ball started to come down, let's just try and track it coming down. I've never tried this before, so I'm learning this one with you guys. But if this works, this would be super. So you get the idea, just spacebar, click on the golf ball. Generally, it's pretty easy to pick up, but normally with the camera angle, you wouldn't really see the golf ball coming back down. Don't always have to click on each frame as well. You can skip to the next one if it's just a dead straight flight. Right, and then we're going to go to continue to set landing point, which should be right about there. Okay, let's see what this comes out like, because like I said, I haven't ever done it like this, which is funny that I'm doing a tutorial, but hey, we're learning together. So if we go create line, then that should, so it has worked. Perfect. So that should have created the line. So now if we just go play, let's just see what this comes out like. Not much better, to be honest. Let's just change the flight time to 5 seconds. See if that's any better. Okay, so I think that's a bit better. The only thing I would say is it's not exactly in time. But it's not far off now. I mean, the landing point's perfect. So yeah, that's not too far away now. Okay, so that is how you do manual settings to try and make it as accurate as possible. I will show you how to edit certain qualities of the tracer down the right here. So first of all, we'll just go to shot tracer type. So these are lots of different types you can do. I normally just keep it on 3D, but you can do a dot, you can do circle, which tracks the ball, you can do a pointed one. There's a few different options here, but I normally just try and stick with 3D. And then you've got the tracer effect. So I will vary this depending on what I'm wanting to do. I've generally started using a lot more fly out during the flight, which is where, if you see here that the tracer starts and then the line moves along with the golf ball and then comes down in a shorter line. So that's what I've started to use a bit more recently. But you've also got the fade out tracer, which I think is generally what they use on DP World Tour, and when you're watching golf on TV, it will have the full tracer there. And then when the ball lands, it fades out. So I might actually use that one here because that actually looks a bit better, I'd say. And then you've got the fly out after landing. So again, slight variation of the tracer. So you get the full tracer there, and then as soon as it lands, and then the line sort of flies out, which you'll see in a second, just like that. Or the last one is fade out after apex. So as soon as the tracer hits the apex, then the start of the line starts to fly out. Which is one I actually haven't used very much at all, but I'm going to use it for that because I really like that. And then when you've chosen the tracer you want, you can change the tracer start size if you want it thicker, and then the end size if you want that even thinner. It's obviously always good to have the end size a lot thinner than the start size, just because it creates that depth feeling. But I generally just keep it on the same settings. And then you can change the color as well. So you can change the start color. Let's just say if we wanted to go red. So that will be the start of the tracer. And then let's just say if we want to change the end of the tracer to white, it will go from red to white. And then you can change where that changes. So if I move this more to the right, then it's literally just going to be white at the end. Or if I change it all to the left, then it's literally just going to be red at the very start. So you can play around with loads of different things, but I generally feel like some of the best tracers are just really simple. So I normally just go with one color, and I'll just stick with a slightly different shade when it comes down, just so it's a little bit darker. And then the next section is you can change the gradient smoothness. So that's when you're having two very different colors. As soon as it goes into the opposing color, you can change the gradient so it has more of a gradual change of color. In fact, it's probably just easier to show you. So let's do what we did a minute ago. So red and then white. And let's move it so that the tracer gradient is more on the start. So you can really smooth that out by moving it all the way to the right, or you can have actually cut in half. I don't know who's going to do that. Anyway, let's move it back to the color I would probably just go with on this one, which is just yellow tracer with a slightly darker ending. And then you can change your tracer glow size, so you can create a bit of a glow to it, and you can intensify the glow. So you could have it almost like a laser feeling. There's loads of things you can do with it, but like I said, I always think that some of the best tracers are very simple. You can also add or move the shadow, so that sometimes can make it look a bit more 3D. I generally like to have the shadow. And then also you can have the descent line darker. If you just wanted to keep the same color and not have to worry about changing the colors, you can just make it darker anyway. And then you can also fade the start of the tracer and fade the end of the tracer, or change to have no fading of the tracer. Then the next section, you can obviously change the flight time in seconds. You can hide the tracer after a certain amount of seconds. You can delay it. In fact, let's just see if that works better by having a minus delay. Just see if it can trace the golf ball a bit better. No, they've gone too much. The tracers start before I even hit the ball. Let's try now. No. Let's try -2. Oh, -2. Let's try that. This is something I haven't actually tried before. -1. Okay, that looks like it was bang on when I hit the golf ball. You can also straighten the tracer out a little bit. Let's say if it's got a bit of a kink in it, you can just play around with that. You can also change the thickness of it. You can change the outline color. Sorry, that is changing the outline thickness. So you could have a really thick outline color if you wanted it. I generally like to have a slightly thinner one. I just think it's, like I said, just having it super simple. And then you can show your apex, and you can show distance as well if you wanted to. So that would literally show you the distance, and it will literally count up the distance. Obviously, that did not go 274 yards, so you can change that in here. I believe this was about 96 yards. You just put that in there, and then press play again, and it should just change that over. And just to warn you guys, when you're watching it on the video here, it is going to be a little bit temperamental in terms of it's not going to be as smooth as when you export it. So just be mindful of that. Don't worry too much. Yeah, so you've got those different options. And then these options down here are for different types of tracers, which I don't generally use. I just normally do the shot tracer. And that's just what this video is about, just as a shot tracer. But then also what you can do is you can add a pop-up. So where we had the distance a minute ago, just at the bottom, you can actually have as a fly-out distance. So if we put 98 yards into here, 98 yards, and we go OK, you can get this to fly out. So it should start at the ball, and it'll fly out through with the tracer, and then land by the pin. if you want to use that, you can. I have used that in the past. Sometimes it makes it a bit more watchable, a bit more interactive. But like I said, I've tried to go with something more simple now, which actually takes less time, and I think it's generally less gimmicky and easier to watch. But if you want to, you can use that. And then you've got other options as well, which I won't go into here, but you can add on ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, swing speed, if you really want to. Anyway, that is the simple side of doing these shot tracers. I will just show you one here, which looks like it's picked it up pretty much bang on. Like I said, most of the time it's pretty good. So that's picked up my draw flight there, just like that. And that's got the fly out tracer on. So for me, that looks like it's pretty much bang on. And then one other one I'm going to show you here, which I haven't done many of, but it's from a completely different angle. Shot Tracer doesn't really pick this up. You'll have to do this one manually. And we're going to go edit trajectory, and we're going to do a line molding one. So set impact frame, and what we're going to do is do it more like this, which I think would probably be a little bit more accurate, seeing as I couldn't actually see the ball after it got past the trees. And we're just going to try and put in the shape which I know I sort of hit, which was a bit more of a draw. There we go. And we're just going to create the line there. And I'm just going to straighten this first bit of it out. There we go. So now that should be pretty accurate. Oh yes, look at that. So there we go. So that's a key example of when I would use the other way to manually do one. If it's looking straight down at the green, then I would never really use that one. But where it's at an angle here, that's actually perfect to use the line molding option. One thing I will show you as well is, say for example, this one you really liked the colors. So if you wanted to do pink going into orange, for example. So if you say, for example, you really liked that as an option there, and you wanted to make the other two exactly the same, but you didn't want to have to go in and try and find the right colors or whatever. Come into the setting cog just up here of the one that you want to keep. And then if you go down to apply settings to other shots, and then if you want to keep that line, then you go apply settings to other shots and you can pick which shot. So you just go select all, go OK, and it will change all of them to that color. So then when you're happy and you want to export these, just go export all shots, click where you want to export them. I always like to try and make a clean folder so you know where everything's organized. Go open, and then now these are being rendered. So you can pick how you want to export them. I always film in 4K now, so it will just do as source. But if you wanted to reduce the size of the file and you didn't want to export it in 4K, you can just change it to whatever you want to export it in. Like I said, I always like to export it as the source file, which is always 4K now for me. And then you also have an option down here, whether you want to export them as an entire video without it being trimmed, or you can have it as a trimmed individual shot sequence, which is what I like to do because it saves on space. And if you've got a whole load of videos, you can just allow this to just work in the background and just come back when it's done, because sometimes it can take a little while. But with 3 videos, it will be under a few minutes. So I'll catch you in a second. Okay, guys, so now it has exported, which took less than a minute, I would say. So this is how they came out. Obviously kept the yardage thing on there just to show you what that comes out like.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So that one actually came out really good. And then I'll show you the other two. Again, that one came out really nice. And then the last one, which is the trickier one. Oh, it's not that one. It's this one here. This was the trickiest of all of them. And that one's come out really good. So there we go, guys. I hope that's helped you all out. I know for me, when I first started making shot tracers, it was really tricky, especially using the apps. It was never in time. It took ages to export. But now using the Shot Tracer Pro program, it's cut down my time for shot tracers massively, and it's really improved the quality of my videos and quality of the shot tracers, and it just makes the videos a bit easier to watch. And it actually makes it much more enjoyable for me to make the shot tracers now. For example, that one which was at a weird angle, I wouldn't have been able to do that with another shot tracer app. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope it's helped you all out. Please leave a comment down below with any struggles you've had or any questions you want to ask, and I'll try and help out. Or if there's anything that I can improve on from my side, because I'm definitely not a professional at this at all. So yeah, if you like the video, please give it a like down below. Please don't hesitate to subscribe. I will be doing more content like this to help you guys out with your content creation as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.